Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, see me? Yes? Okay. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Say What. For those who are joining us for the first time, this is a space where we dive deep into life's most profound questions, celebrating the human experience while sparking meaningful and transformative conversations. I'm your anchor, Joanna, and this is Say What with Shaurya Singh. Today, I'm thrilled to have with us the founder of Unalome Project, the visionary behind countless journeys of self-discovery, Shaurya Singh. Since its inception in 2016, Unalome Project has been a beacon for those seeking to delve deeper into the mysteries of life, guided by none other than Shaurya Singh. Shaurya has led over 500 workshops connected with over 2,000 individuals. His teachings span an impressive range of philosophies from Sufism to Advaita Vedanta to Zen. One of his most renowned offerings is the Nine Steps to Nothing, a workshop that has resonated with people across diverse backgrounds. And today, many of those individuals are here with us. From Qigong, primal flow to yoga, image consulting, Shaurya's mentorship has touched fields far and wide. And let's not forget the Mahanavratri festival, an extraordinary creation brought to life by Shaurya Singh's vision, which has become a significant spiritual and cultural force. It's a privilege to be hosting this conversation with someone who has been the driving force behind so much personal transformation and growth. So, without further ado, let's welcome the one and only Shaurya Singh.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for that lovely introduction. I don't know whether it's, I think it's a bit too much. Doesn't sound like me at all. Okay, let's begin today's session. See, primarily the focus is, answering questions, making it a conversation. Let's start today's meeting in a different way. Let's start with a joke. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So there are these three people who are construction workers, and they are sitting on top of the building, and they open up their lunch boxes and they find, okay, dal chawal in mine. The other one says dal chawal in mine. Third one says dal chawal in mine. Yeah, same thing. He says, now this has been happening for a while. We're getting the same food every day, and it goes on for a while as well. So every day they sit and open their lunch boxes and discover dal chawal. Now, fed up with this situation, they make a they make a promise to each other. If tomorrow we have dal chawal again in our lunch boxes, we'll jump off and kill ourselves. Yeah. Next day, first guy opens his lunch box, dal chawal, jumps off, splat, gone. Second guy opens his lunch box, dal chawal, jumps off, splat, gone. Third guy opens his lunchbox, dal chawal, jumps off, splat, gone. At the funeral, the wives are talking. Yeah. So the first guy's wife says, I wish he had told me he didn't like dal chawal, I would have made something else. Second guy's wife says, yeah, I wish he had told me, I would have made something else. I love to cook so many things, I would have given him something else. Third guy's wife is totally confused. What's going on? And they look at her and they ask, what happened? What happened? So she says he used to pack his lunch himself. Yeah. And that's what we are doing, right? We see these patterns in our lives going on repeat, same thing happening over and over again. And we wonder, who's packing this lunch for me? Yeah, but it's we. We are packing our own lunch. Our experience of life our experience of how I exist within the world, within the family, within society, is all given by the way I'm looking at life. Yeah, this framing, the way I frame uh, life itself, and I've got all these ideas and thoughts and statements and declarations that this is how life is, this is how people are, all that stuff, right? And all that then becomes my experience of life, and I wonder, why is it the same dal chawal every day? Yeah, whether you say it's in terms of relationships, and that's where it shows up most strongly. Yeah, because relationships are kind of the mirror to who we are. Yeah, the the philosopher Ramdas, right? He used to say this, that if you think you're enlightened, go spend a weekend with your family. Yeah. And then you can test, right? Because relationships is where you really test, where am I? What's really going on with me? Especially in terms of these kind of declarations that I have made, the kind of patterns that I have formed, the kind of frames that I have, tried to fit life into. And then my experience of life is only within that frame. Yeah. Okay, good. So, that being said, uh, let's have some questions. Let's open it up. Let's make it a conversation rather than me talking about any specific thing. Yeah, whatever, yeah, and anything. So we can talk about just about anything. So what you
Um,
can do is you can raise your hand, or if you want to put it in the chat box, you can do that. Yes, yes. Sanjana. Yes.
Yes. So I have a question about what you just mentioned. So if we feel like our family or anyone we are close to are, like testing our um, uh, journey, is it obviously it kind of hinders our journey what we have built through so far. So does that mean we face it, we manage, we help them also move forward, or is it just an added burden? Like, how do we see it, such situations?
Sure. I think we'll need to look at it from multiple angles, and it's not, of course, there's no solution to just hand over in that sense. What it brings us to is really questioning, what is it that's triggering me? What is it that makes me feel a certain way? Yeah. The common example that I give. The common example that I give is, if I think I'm fat, yeah, then even if somebody is not calling me fat, it's like already there. It's playing out in my mind. If I don't think I'm fat, you can call me fat so all the time, and it doesn't make any difference to me. Yeah. So we have to recognize where these triggers are. There's a trigger there already. There's a way I feel about myself. Yeah, and that kind of brings this and we hand over this remote control to the people in our lives, right? They know exactly what to press and make us feel a certain way. Yeah. The second part that I want to bring your attention to is that, as long as I am trying to change someone, trying to better somebody's life, trying to get them to see things in a certain way, it's the same thing as what they are doing to me. They are wanting to shift my perspective there. So it's a conflict that there's no real end to. And it's kind of the most annoying thing, because when someone's trying to fix you, you can feel that, right? You know that they've entered into the conversation with this agenda that they want to fix you in some way, and they can smell it too. When you do that, they can smell it too. So again, there's no so uh, a way to approach this is, how do I create harmony within the situation such that my mental energy is not getting occupied with this entire conflict? Yeah, to arrive at some kind of harmony, to arrive at a place where I am so free that with my freedom, with my way of being, everything around me gets impacted. So the work really is here, starting with identifying those triggers. What's triggering me, and why should something trigger me? In the world today, we have everyone getting offended for even the smallest thing, and that's really a question that we have to ask ourselves. What offends me? What can you say right now that will get me mad? And if I'm not bulletproof in that way, my remote is in your hands, then I have no my experience of life is given by you, and that's not something that should be acceptable at all. Yes, Sanjana.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I I think it takes a lot of practice of patience to achieve that. Yeah, to be
uh
like
okay, so
yeah.
here again, the way we need to look at things is that the moment I am saying I need to be compassionate, yeah, means there's no compassion. Means I have to, I have to put something on top of what is. The moment I'm saying I have to be patient, it is I have to put something on top of this. And this is where, meditation fails for a lot of people, because now there's so much stress, and now I have to be peaceful on top of that. Yeah, it's one more stress to take on, right? So this again does not lead to a place of uh, harmony. It's again, you're fighting something. That's There is impatience, but you're trying to enforce patience on top of that. I'm saying rather look at what that impatience is. Really look, confront, analyze for yourself, by yourself, and really look, put your life under that magnifying glass. Really see, why are these patterns playing out over and over again? What do I need to take from this? How is it that I can shift or break this pattern? And again, that comes down to your own frame, right? So a very powerful way of approaching life is to start to reframe, because what life is going to do is going to throw shit at you, yeah, and non-stop. How are you going to play the game? And that's where you have, if there is such a thing called free will, that's the place that free will exists. Your subjective interpretation of what's going on, which is where this idea of spirituality comes in, wherein you start to look at life through a bigger, that it's not just me in my story, but in fact it's beyond that, right? There are forces and events and motions that are in play, cause and effect, which I don't have control over. Why is someone saying something to me? And that's what we do, right? So someone's rude to me, but that's only one small little piece of the picture. We don't know what's going on in their life, what they have been through, and how their parents traumatize them, and then how their parents traumatize, and how and you can go infinity like that, right? So uh, it's very easy for us to just catch one thing and say, okay, this is a judgment I can make on this, but things don't work like that. And what spirituality or philosophy then gives you is that larger perspective, that everything that's going on, I'm just a part of this play. Yeah, where I do have free will is how I choose to see it. How do I choose to interpret this for myself? I can interpret the typical thing, right? Every challenge is an opportunity, and that's as simple as it is. Yeah, or the fact that anxiety and excitement are exactly the same in the body. How are you interpreting it? When I look at worst case scenario, I feel anxious. When I'm focused on best case scenario, I'm excited. But in the body, it's exactly the same. The heartbeat is going up. You're feeling the short breath, all that stuff's going on. But I'm interpreting it in a different way, and that's where the power of reframing can come in and work. Yeah.
So does that mean, like, is it okay to say that we have to build a sense of equanimity towards situation rather than like building patience?
Yes, but again, this idea of that I have to build something, yeah, is trying to enforce something that's not there. The moment you start to unlayer, get rid of all the stuff that's accumulated, what exists is equanimity. That onion peeling, right? Or once all the layers are gone, then what's left is that you don't have to do anything. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. You
Thank
take
you.
on next question.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanjana, for that question. Okay, I'm moving to the next one. Um, this is by Deepa. Yeah.
Yes.
Her question is, what kind of changes can we expect from this experience? So before that, she mentioned that she's new to this whole world and she loved the experience each day of Mahanavratri and she gained a lot. But this is the question she has. Yeah.
Again, it totally depends, Deepa. What you gain is right now what's appropriate for you. There's no way I can say that this is what you should gain or this is not appropriate or any such thing. At every stage of our lives, uh, that's what they say about the Bhagavad Gita or any for that matter, any deep work, that you'll find different lessons in it each stage of life, that you take that same book, the same verses, the same, but it opens up something else because it really depends on where you are. Yeah. So this again, maybe this will make things a little easier, is that you don't have to keep finding new things. Yeah, you don't have to go like the pub hopping, right? That's not what spirituality is about. You from one thing to another to another. Find depth in any one thing that you've taken on. And when the easiest way to look at it is that the moment something clicks, then go all the way. Yeah. Buddha used to say the two mistakes on the spiritual path. One not starting, the other not going all the way. Yeah. So most of us start, but then are we willing to go to, till where can this go? Yeah. What is the depth that I can reach within this one thing that I've taken on? Yeah. And somehow in our modern world, we've lost the ability to do that. And we want to jump to the next, to the next, to the next. Yeah? And our minds have gotten trained in that way. That okay, go here. Is there happiness here? Then someone says, no, no, look there. Oh yeah, yeah. Is there happiness here? No, no, no. Then next, then next. Yeah, you keep doing this. It's only when the mind starts to move inward, yeah, this inward movement of the mind, where the mind realizes that its home is right here. That which is being sought outside is right here. Nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be there's no action required. It's the settling, but for that settling in, yeah, that's where the whole idea of self work and spirituality come in. Is this idea of how do I get my mind to settle, to be here. Yeah. And everything around us, the world around us, is designed to do exactly the opposite. It's meant to keep you distracted. It's meant to keep you feeling bad about yourself. Because only when we are feeling bad about ourselves that we indulge in the capitalistic, framework. Then you want to spend money on something. Yeah, because that's what we've been again trained to do. That you spend money and you get happiness. Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. I don't know if that really answers your question because there's nothing really that is, these are the benefits. I know that, in the marketing copy, that's what is written. Okay, these are the benefits, but there's no such thing. It's what you find for yourself, and it's again you finding it. All these things, the workshops, the books, the lectures, the goddess message, all that is meant to get you to see something for yourself. It's not now you have to buy this system or this belief or any of that. Yeah. Yes. You
Okay.
take the next question. Is
Thank
that?
you.
Yeah. Sure.
Deepa says, thank you. I understand it now with a better perspective.
Awesome.
Okay, moving on to the next question. This is by Arun.
Yes.
Can certain nature receive through genes? Can it be rewired to the way we want? Then how?
Okay. I guess what you're talking about is certain traits of or behaviors and behavior patterns. Is that what's being referred to? Okay. I'll assume that's the case. Yeah. Is that the case? Okay, sure. So, yes, absolutely. So we are completely, absolutely conditioned. Yeah. We live in conditioning. We are uh, nature versus nurture. It's both, right? Nature is also conditioning, nurture is also conditioning. You're hardwired to live life in a certain way. Yeah, you've got these very strong ideas, beliefs about life, very strong ingrained behavior patterns, which you've observed, which you've learned, which, like you said, might have come down in your lineage. But the whole point here is that as long as I'm living my life through these conditions, the experience of life is not going to be different. Yeah, within this whole mix I might add doing mantra jap, or I might add a visit to the temple, or I might add a meditation practice, but that's not going to change anything because the rest of it is so strongly in place. Yeah. Now the more important question becomes, is it possible to break out of this? Yeah, and to a great extent, yes, but also no. Okay, and let me explain that. Yes, it's possible to break out of it in the sense that it no longer controls me. But does it mean now I have to do exactly the opposite things? Not necessary. Yeah. Now, when I do something, it's going to come out of that uh, a conscious way of doing things. It's not going to come out of an unconscious pattern that's repeating. Yeah. So there is no such place that you're going to arrive at, which is going to be now I'm always smiling. Yeah. And that's again a ridiculous idea because then that's not human. You cannot give up the human experience for some, idea of what enlightenment or some weird concept like that. Yeah, it is very much to be involved in life. But then are you consciously there? Are you being present with what's occurring? And are you in that subjective realm making choices? Yeah, so whether you've been conditioned to behave in a certain way or not, the real question is, can I be conscious of what's going on? To realize even that, yeah, this was a conditioned response. This was not coming out of a space of being spontaneous, of being here. Just to recognize that. That itself is spirituality. There's no spirituality which is, ringing bells in the temples. It's not got anything to do with being spiritual. Yeah. Yes, Arun. Any follow up to that, or should we?
There is a follow-up, but it came about later. So shall I go first with the questions before.
No, let's complete this. If there's a follow-up to
Okay.
this, yeah.
Okay, so this one is, how do we find meaning in life when we realize that in the grand scheme of the universe, our individual existence may be fleeting and insignificant?
Yes, beautiful.
Okay.
So how, again, let's really frame it correctly, okay? And the way to frame it is that it's only because there is no inherent meaning to life. In the grand scheme of things, there's absolutely no meaning. No matter what you do, what you achieve, all that becomes null and void because you're gone, right? It's only because that there is no meaning, inherent meaning to life, is the freedom to create meaning. What tends to happen is that we've taken on what life means from the outside. We've been told this is what life means, this is what you need to do. We've been given templates. This is how relationships work. Father, son, this is the template, go follow. Boyfriend, girlfriend, this is the template, go follow. Husband, wife, this is the template, go follow. And we play out those templates. The same things happen over and over and over again. Yeah. When we've taken on meaning of life from outside, we are trapped within those plot points. It's the same thing that's happening. Yeah. The parent child template is disappointment. Yeah. The dating template is that, for a while it's fun and then it starts to fade away, and then there's other things happen which are like painful and whatnot, and then there's a breakup, right? So then that's the whole template, and there's a song for every situation that you can possibly go through in your life. So there's nothing new. Your story is nothing unique, nothing new. Everybody's living exactly the same things. Yeah. But the moment I can see this, that I'm not going to take on these meanings that have been, thrown on me, and then is the real chance to invent meaning. And Nietzsche talks about this in the sense of, you create your own values. What does life mean to you? What would you want it to be? What would you want it to be in such a powerful way that you wake up excited in the morning? Something that's life affirming. Yeah, again, no moral judgment on this. Yeah, it can be anything. Most of the mystic saints, do all kinds of, there's a cobbler or there's a butcher. It doesn't matter what, but are your values in alignment with who you are, and have you created them, and do you stand by them? And that then becomes that, subjective certainty, that no matter what's going to occur, what life throws at me, these are my values. This is what stands no matter what. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we have 5 questions lined up.
Hmm.
This one is again by Deepa. Can meditation heal our traumas?
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh, well, no. No, meditation not going to heal traumas. In fact, what meditation can do is help you really recognize where those traumas are. Yeah, because meditation, this is how I always talk about it, is that meditation, let's say 30 minutes I meditate every day. Yeah. If you're saying I'm peaceful during those 30 minutes and the rest of the day I'm like, Hulk ravaging the whole place, stop meditating. That's not the point. Meditation should be uncomfortable. It should bring up all the stuff that's unresolved. And hence, then the rest of your 23 hours and 30 minutes are peaceful. So, meditation can help you start to bring your mind to a level of focus, because that's again something in our modern world, we've lost the ability to focus. Yeah, before I can focus, something happened. Ting, I have to look at my phone, right? So that to bring your mind into this, the zone of focus where I start to look at my life deeply, where I can really question what's going on. Yeah. Now, as far as healing of traumas, that requires uh, work, right? That requires work in terms of uh, there are these frames that I have held on to. This means this. Yeah. The example that I can give here is that if you see you're walking down the street and you notice this man is slapping this young child. Yeah. Now, all these three have different perspectives. The child is seeing this as trauma, right? It's a humiliating experience where my father is slapping me in public. Yeah. You're seeing this as probably like, okay, something entertaining, the crowd that forms every time there's something happening. You're one of those. Now, the father is seeing this as if I don't discipline my son right now, he's going to have a miserable life. Yeah. So each one has different perspectives to it. Self work in that sense is to really understand what's going on. What is the story that I'm telling myself? What does it allow me to do? Yeah, and this is again a little uh, hard hitting because most of us hold on to stories of pain because they allow us to, they justify certain behaviors in the now. Okay. So I can hold on to the story of I was, bullied in school, which is why I'm an asshole now. So I can't really heal this trauma because why? Because then I have nothing to justify my behavior. Again, I'm giving an extreme example, so please look at it how it applies to you. Yeah. For most of our behaviors currently, we have justifications. So I am an asshole, yeah, and I have enough so I can present a whole, case in front of the Supreme Court. This is why. Yeah. But as long as I'm holding on to this evidence, there's no way I can be free of it, nor can I ever, I'm trying to be a better man. No, it's not. Yeah. Okay. Let's
Okay. Thank
go
you,
to next.
Deepa. Okay, this question is by Novena.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So I tend to react when I feel someone has an expectation from me, especially when it is not aligned with my thoughts at that moment. How can I shift this frame for myself?
Right. Uh, People are going to have expectations. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. And the thing about expectations is that it's always disappointing. The moment we have any expectation from anything or anyone, we are headed for disappointment because what we are doing is we are creating a mental image of how things should be or how someone should behave or all that stuff, right? And it's never going to be the same as what I have imagined. Yeah. So people having expectations of you know that they are going to end up feeling bad even if you perform, overperform, underperform, whatever. Yeah. The way to really look at this for ourselves is to understand very clearly that I cannot make anybody happy. Happiness is a choice that the individual must make for themselves. Similarly, I cannot make anybody sad either because sadness is again a choice that, or angry or whatever, that's again a choice that they are making. The way that I can bring about a shift in my environment is by talking about this, is by being that, is by playing it out over and over again. And by saying this, I am happy because I choose to be happy, not because you did something for me. Yeah, to display this, to talk about it. And conversation is very, very essential in when we spoke about relationships, yeah, being the mirror. It's conversation that brings about shifts that can either keep us trapped or can move us to another level. Yeah, as long as we play the same tennis match, back tuck, 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 we keep doing that, we are stuck. Yeah. Now to that tennis match, bring a baseball bat. Yeah, hit it out of the park. Change the pattern. Break something. And that same, the words, the conversation can completely shift the experience of that relationship. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Navina. Okay, so the next question. This is
Yes.
by Shanti.
Hi, Shanti.
How does one shift the motivation that is the true kind, that is fueling our actions?
Yes.
If I may reframe that question,
Sure. Sure. Go ahead.
Sure.
so the thing is that your motivation has shifted. However, you are conditioned in a certain way with certain kind of actions that definitely kick in, like because it's a reflex. So, I mean, is there a? I know this is a very random question. I don't know if you're getting me, but how do you kind of contain these impulses? And basically it's like you have to completely change as a person. So
Right. Right. So, okay, tell me if I've got it right. Okay. So I'll give a different word so that there's a distinction in what we're talking about. There are certain drives that we have, yeah, as opposed to an intention. Yeah. A drive plays out automatically. I don't need to put in much effort there. Yeah. I want to go out and party. There's nothing that can stop me. Yeah. People are sick, people are dying, doesn't matter. I have to go because that's a drive. Yeah. Intention doesn't work like that. Intention, the smallest is, achoo, no, I can't do it today. It's fragile. Correct? Have I got what you're saying? Yeah. Now understand this difference, right? There's a difference here because this the drive comes from a very unconscious level. Intention requires conscious effort, right? A drive comes from that unconscious, like you said, it's played out several times before. Yeah. Uh, Firstly, just looking at it fully, that itself breaks a lot of things, right? So the moment this urge now to do whatever, just look at it fully and see where is it coming from. Really, really be with that. It is coming from this sense of void that exists. The the who are the most motivated people are in the villains of movies. You have their goons, right? The second, third villain and all that. They are like the most motivated people, right? Like you tell them go beat up 5 people, they'll beat up 10 and come back. See, boss, मैंने इतना आज 10 लोग को मारा. They're highly motivated. Yeah, because those are drives. Yeah. And most of us living out our lives are living through drives. We are not living through intentionality. We then try and mask it. Yeah. Oh, this is, I have chosen my life path and I've done all this. No, it's a drive. And now you try to justify it to yourself. Yeah. So just the recognition of this is a drive, it's coming from an unconscious place, then gives you power to choose there. That moment of gap where I have that choice. Do I follow through with this or not? It doesn't mean you don't follow through, right? That's not again what's being said. If you choose to, go ahead and do it. But make sure that it's coming from a conscious place and not from a place of something that's that's automatic, that you don't even know, and later you realize, oh, what did I do? Yeah. So here the focus is really there, becoming aware of it. Yeah, then the other is that, intentions, how do I work with that? Because there's no drive there. 2 days the intention is there, third day gone, gayabs. Right? Everything goes back into the old way. Yeah. So intentions require that, ghee. You have to keep putting ghee into that fire, keep that fire burning. Because the older ways of living, we have given so much power to. We have rehearsed those ways of being over and over again. Everyone is a great performer. Each one of us, brilliant, like Oscar level performances we can give till that, one teardrop falling and everything we can do perfectly, right? But these new ways of being, we've not practiced. Yeah, so it's all about being that actor who's ready now to take on a new role and is giving it all, that I'm going to perform this role fully. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanti. That was a much needed question to be asked. So thank you. Okay, moving to the next question.
Yes.
This is by Ankita. This is not
Hi,
really a
Ankita.
question. Yes, I'm extremely uncomfortable with the idea of death.
Yes.
I couldn't fully immerse myself in death focused movement practice. I'd like to view death as a natural process, the ultimate end, but it's not easy. Even asking this question makes me uncomfortable.
Sure. Sure. Um, okay, couple of ways to approach this, okay? And firstly, acknowledging and looking at when I say life, yeah, the word life itself, it includes all of it. Death is not separate from life. Just like if I say firewood, yeah, the word firewood includes the logs, the burning, the ashes that remain the next day. All of it is included in that term firewood. Yeah. In the same way, when I say life, death is already included in it. You cannot say life without death being included in that term. Everything that begins must end. Yeah. So the point is to find that which has no beginning. That's the entire, journey of spirituality, if you call it that. What is it that does not have a beginning? What is it that cannot die? Mrityorma amritam gamaya. What is that which is untouched by death? Yeah. Now, strangely, what needs to occur, and this is again all mystic traditions talk about this, is the death before dying. Yeah, which is the death of this identity. This person that I have built up and think that I am, like some one little person sitting inside my head who's driving and running everything, that to come to an end. Yeah, and not to wait for physical death to occur for that to happen. Yeah, it's spoken of by Rumi. It's spoken in all traditions. You'll find this idea of death before dying. This idea where uh, this identity comes to a complete end, and that being, in fact, the starting point of the true life, of truly living life. Because as long as I'm functioning as if there is a person here, I'm bound by the ways that this person experiences life, the pain, the hate, the jealousy. We keep trying to, we are always doing this. I want to be compassionate. I don't want to be jealous. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to all these things, right? But that's me. I am jealousy. I am anger. I am sadness. I am isolation. I'm made up of that. And on top of that, then I want to, now I have to be compassionate. So I, do heart chakra meditation. No, that's not how it works. Yeah, of course, this is a longer conversation, and it is really, it comes down to that. There is no life that does not include death. And without this death before dying, life cannot truly be experienced also. Yeah. The discomfort which you spoke about comes from this entanglements that we have created. Yeah, what is entanglement? So things are occurring, right? Uh, Thoughts are coming and going, feelings are coming and going, people are coming and going, events are coming and going. But with this, I create entanglements. This should last longer, or this should not be there. Either ways, right? Aversion or attachment. This should go on, or this should not happen. But whenever I do that, I create an entanglement. Now I'm caught with that one thing. Whether it is avoidance or it is an attachment, either ways I get entangled. And the fear, yeah, the thing that's causing me disturbance is those things which I want to continue. The thought that they are not going to continue is the disturbance. Yeah. But whether you like it or not, and no matter what you do, yeah, 40 years in a cave standing on one leg, whatever, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but that doesn't change. In fact, the value of life comes from the fact that everything is transient. Yeah, if this conversation was to go on for eternity, it'll have no value. It's because it's going to come to an end, it has value. The people in your life, if they were going to sit with you throughout your life for eternity, yeah, you'll really want to kill them. Yeah, it's the fact that they are not going to be there is what makes that one interaction, that one moment precious. Yeah. So be in that moment fully, because in each moment is an eternity. Can you be here fully in this moment? Can you be fully present with the person whom you're with? And then that's whole and complete in itself. Then this idea that this should last longer does not occur because you've lived it fully. Yeah.
Thank you, Ankita. Okay, we have another question here.
Yes.
Okay, this is by Viren.
Yes.
How to see the truth about myself, and if not, then why? How do I know the real me? Am I really what I am?
Right. Okay. Okay. To start off with, I'll go a little bit advanced, but then I'll kind of, bring it. There is no way for me to see my truth. Yeah. Because my truth uh, cannot be objectified, cannot be put into a frame that, oh, this is my truth. Yeah. Now I'll explain it further. Okay. Whenever I look at anything, I want to know the truth about, let's say, a pen or a pencil. Now, this is an object, and there's a subject which is wanting to understand what this object is. But when I'm talking about myself, my true self, that is not an object. The mind wants to believe that at some point there'll be a revelation of the truth. But it's in fact the opposite. It's when the mind lets go of this need to find the ultimate truth is just there. That which is a witness to everything that's occurring, that which is the witness to good and bad, happiness, sadness, people, situations, all this. There is a witness to it. Right now, thoughts are happening, but there is a witness to those thoughts. That pure witness is the true you. Just like on the screen, there are a lot of things happening. Yeah, but the screen is unchanged. You can play a movie, you can play Netflix on this. There's a lot of action, drama, all that happening. But the screen has not changed. The screen is that witness. And it's untouched by any of this. The character in the movie cannot know that there is a screen. There's no way for the character to figure out. This me that's right now, the identity, is just a character. It cannot figure out. Me, by definition, is separation. So when I say me, everything inside my skin is me. Everything outside my skin is not me. Yes, so by definition, the idea of me is an idea of separation. And this idea of separation cannot arrive at oneness. It's in fact the letting go of this idea of separation, oneness exists. Yes? You have a follow-up to that? Does it make sense?
It does make sense.
Again, it's not going to make sense in the conventional way, right? Because there's no way for the mind to grasp,
Right.
because there's no solution being given. There's nothing. I'm not giving you an answer
Mm.
at all.
Mm. Mm. Okay. So probably I'll have another conversation for this at a later stage.
Sure, sure. So these
Sure.
are
Thank
really
you.
at these points, when we are having conversations like this, something needs to break. Yeah, it's really like a Zen koan, right? Where there's no real answer to it. What was your face before you were born? Right? And really contemplate on that. And it's not so that I can arrive at any answer. It's so that the ways that the mind has gotten into a pattern of looking at this, that shifts, that breaks.
So the idea is only to understand, what exactly we are. If it is, this is what we have to do, or are we doing the things at the right
Sure,
way?
sure.
It has to be,
Yes.
and so there are many if and buts, so how to eliminate those if and buts and be in a real sense who I am,
Right.
and yeah, so that's the actually idea of asking
Sure,
this question.
sure. And here again, you see, for thousands of years, the answers are there. It's not like, the answers are not there. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Shivoham, whatever, right? You have these answers. But is it an experience? And here the problem occurs because I think I am going to experience, I will experience Brahman. I will experience, no, this I cannot experience that. This I is a bucket. the bucket cannot bring the river home. You might bring a, water back, but you can't say I brought the river. Yeah, because life is this flowing, is this cascading, flowing, rapid movement. This you call it spanda, or you call it, by many names. But that cannot be captured with this small little thing here. It's not possible. Which is why a lot of these questions again lead to places where there's no answer. There's no way to capture. There's no way to put it across. It is only through a true, real actualization of that for oneself. Again, without this trap of that I am going to experience something. In fact, there's all these ideas where people say, I am enlightened. That's the stupidest thing to say, because I and enlightenment cannot exist together. If you are there, then there's no enlightenment. If enlightenment is there, you are not there. Awesome.
I have a follow-up to what
Sure.
Vinay asked and not just, like the point about that oneness that you spoke about, that is very much needed. But there is a loss of trust at society at large, which blocks us from even wanting to see that, and how does, I mean, it's like to even see that it feels like there is a hurdle itself that needs to be crossed of coming together, realizing that, I mean, that without that, so it's like a catch-22 situation, I mean,
Absolutely.
I see it. Yeah. Like, how does one bring that kind of trust in a society that's so fragmented?
No, you cannot bring. And why trust? In fact, you have to let go of all crutches, of any support. It's only you by yourself. You have to stand against the storm by yourself, facing the void, literally, without any crutches of scripture, of teacher, of friend, whatever, nothing. Nobody's with you. But that's the only journey that's worth making, because everything else is until then just a prison. To free yourself from the self, that's the only journey. And yeah, absolutely, society is designed to do exactly the opposite. Yes. Okay. Next question.
Yes. Okay, so we're not going to be taking any more questions. Okay. This is by Arun again.
Sure.
If existence itself is ultimately finite and the universe indifferent to our lives, can any human achievement, relationships, or legacy truly hold lasting significance, or are we simply creating illusions of meaning to cope with the void?
Yeah, absolutely. So, firstly, this very idea of infinite, right? It's easy to say it, but the mind cannot even imagine what that means. The mind is not capable of imagining infinity. Yeah, so imagine right now you're standing in a pool of water. Yeah. And then I tell you, to your right, this pool extends infinitely. Yeah. You don't know what that means. Till where? Right? The mind needs to. Till where? Yeah. What if I tell you You were always here. Since when? And before that, the mind has no way of, we use these concepts, but they mean nothing. Eternal, infinite. The human mind cannot understand this. Yeah. And yes, so it's not a way to avoid the void, it's rather the rebellion against it. Yeah. Life is what it is. I can either take it on that I'm going to be stuck in the ways that my forefathers and society and whatever live it and follow those templates. Yeah. Or then I can choose to say no. And if you go to Nietzsche, that's the camel, the lion. But there's a third way, which is the child. A child chooses to play, not fighting against, society is saying this, so I'll do the opposite. No, you're just choosing to play the game of life. Yeah, and that's the truest rebellion. When I choose to be happy in the face of whatever exists, whatever is occurring, that's the highest form of art. Then my entire life becomes art. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Arun. Okay, we are taking the last question for today. This is by Sanjana. Does getting high help detach from entanglements?
Hmm.
What has your experience been?
So we've got enough ways, okay, to distract ourselves from those things which we need to look at. In fact, our entire life is basically a distraction. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, I have to get to work. Oh, I have to go and meet them. Oh, I have to call them. Oh, I have to do this. Your entire life is basically a distraction from that which you really need to look at. Yeah. And yeah, sure, drugs and all these things are a way to distract yourself again. Yeah. Uh, However, if you go into the other way of looking at it, if you look at the shamans, if you look at tantra, there is this intoxicants being used in order to open up certain things of the mind, which otherwise are not available to us. Yeah. This can even be done through achieving higher states of consciousness just by a breathing technique, right? So if you do a particular breathing technique, you can experience higher states of consciousness just as much as you would on a intoxicant. But again, these are not then to avoid. So here the context has shifted. The context is that I need to open up a part of my mind that's not accessible otherwise. Yeah. So there is that part to it as well. But if you typically look at it, we are only running away. Whatever you choose, whether it's even going to temples, doing charity, doing all this are all ways to run away because you need to look at yourself right here in this moment. Look really, who is experiencing? Who is this experiencer? We're too entangled with what's going on. The moment you connect back to that witness, yeah, and that requires this unlayering to happen because you're caught up in this person who is experiencing something. That unlearning, that unlayering and you arrive at pure witness, and from that operate in life. It doesn't mean now again go off to the mountains or go to a monastery. No, not at all. It is from that place of establishing yourself in pure witness, function in the world, indulge in life, experience life fully through your senses, because this is the form that exists. Yeah, why two eyes? Why the sound I can make? Right? Because this is how I experience life. And this is how divinity is experiencing itself. Yet at every moment I'm complaining, right? Oh, this is not the life that I wanted. The other one, I wanted that, neighbors. And as long as we're doing that, we are insulting life. We are insulting divinity. Because this is the only physical form that you have. This is the only place that you have. These are the only people in your life. This is your life. To just be that fully, just look at it fully. And there, start to see the divinity. Start to see the magic that's occurring. What are the chances of you being here right now? Not here in this meeting, alive. Yeah. One more thing, just this witness thing which we spoke of earlier. My witness is not different from your witness, and that's again a radical thought. You don't have a different witness, and I have a different witness. It's the same. It's one, because there's no differentiation. There's no distinction. There's no way to put a frame on it. There's no way to draw a boundary. There's only one witness. The same witness that's there is the same witness that's here. It's not a local. Okay.
Thank you, Sanjana, for that question. Uh, just a moment. Yes, that was an insightful conversation. Thank you, everyone, for those questions. Today's questions were very interesting.
Any other small ones before we close?
Yes, do we? Do we have any? Shania has one. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, Happy Navratri and good evening. So I have a question like in the recent time, as you told about consciousness and unconsciousness, and we make certain changes. Like we are all like till now, I have lived in survival mode, and even maybe right now also or maybe in further, I might go into survival mode. So I'm living in this two parts, which is like survival and a happiness which is unexplainable. Like
Hmm.
I feel to be just there. As you told, in every moment, there is a moment you can live. But I want to be grounded and I want to experience that again. Like with family relationships, we forgive. And then we change. And since I have started this journey, today I could see my family, the behavior. I have changed, and there are things like people are in a good way they have changed, and
Right.
there have been things where people have like literally I can be like, okay, this is the person I knew. Okay, it's completely different now. So there are two ways happening. So how and this spirituality, as you told me, I don't get stick. Like there are sometimes when I'm doing my meditation, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do it, so I avoid doing it. But how do I just remain in this subtle way where just as there's a lot of things I have learned, but I just can't take it. It's just like it's just there, which need to be integrated. But how this survival mode, because we know triggers, we know our anxiousness, we know how to work through it,
Yeah.
but somehow this ego doesn't let it break. And especially when it comes to the relationships, which we are learn like most of the time we learn from relationship outside our family. They teach us that this is what was happening with my family and with myself. So we forgive the family, but we're not able to forgive the outside world, which is little bit ahead. I know there's a oneness you need to accept, but I cannot. Like this.
Sure. And again, so this is not about, okay. Firstly, the survival mode that you're talking about, right? Uh, let's truly analyze what that means because perhaps something can break there. Yeah. Because when you're saying survival mode, are you in the forest and there are wild animals around you? What survival are you talking about?
For me, it's like I get scared for like there's now I'm not,
Yes.
but before it was like I'd be even scared to step out. Like everything scared me even since my childhood, I would say. I've never confronted that, but recently I'm able was able to confront, and I hate that. I hate people too. I can say that, and I'm able to say that now. So yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
survival mode, like
Right.
experiencing life, I guess.
Yes. So it's it's
Afraid.
uh it's this, okay. What happens to us is as we are growing up, yeah, whenever we get into experiences that are of emotional nature, yeah, and we uh, attach pain with them, yeah, we start to build this idea of avoiding experiences altogether. Yeah, because I've associated pain with that experience. Now, like I mentioned, the forest and the wild animals, that's where we started off, right? As human beings, we needed to have a worst case scenario always running in our head if we had to survive. Yeah. So the person who thought that behind every bush is a snake or a tiger is more likely to survive than the guy who walks out saying, "Hey, nothing will happen to me." Right? So our ancestors are those who were these really paranoid people. That's how they survived. So the mind, the brain is programmed to always project worst case scenarios to keep us in that state of beware or caution or state of alertness, which in today's world it's playing out as stress. What you're calling stress or anxiety is basically the fight or flight response. Yeah. Fight and flight is basically adrenaline running through the body. What happens when this is happening? The digestive system shuts down. The reproductive system shuts down. Blood starts pumping towards the extremities because you're getting ready to either run or to fight. Yeah. These are exactly the same symptoms of anxiety and stress. Yeah. Opposite to this, the stress response is the relaxation response, which my mom, Rayar Dharma, who's also here, she's written a book about this. How do you activate the relaxation response in the body? Yeah, to get the opposite, and that we need to do consciously. Unconsciously, we can easily get stressed about stuff. Yeah, but it's very difficult to consciously bring about the relaxation response, right? Now, when you're saying I'm stuck in survival mode, yeah, recognize this. Recognize that this, mechanism of the mind is actually there for protection. So you say thank you to it, firstly. Thank you for trying to protect me. But it's not required. Yeah. And just like you would overcome, let's say if you had a phobia of water, the only way to overcome it is by getting into water. Yeah. That which scares us the most is where we need to go into, is really what you need to explore and see what's there. And to make that fun, to make that, yeah, I'm living life on the edge. Yeah. And secondly, people are going to do all kinds of crazy things. You cannot control them, you cannot change them, you cannot do anything about them. Where you have control is how am I looking at them. Yeah. It's a very good step to take, that I'm, exercising this ability to forgive, to accept. And yes, that's a great place to start. But that's not the end of the journey. Where this next would lead to is that even forgiveness means that there was something to forgive. And yet, that story is also my story. Yeah? Like I usually say this, the whole point of self work is to realize that there was no self in the first place. Yeah, but self work has to be done. It doesn't mean, oh, there's nothing to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shania. Okay, this is one last question, okay? This is by Tanisha. How to notice the doingness that arises from beingness?
Okay. So when we talk about beingness, right? Um, there are ways of being that we have been programmed to live as. Yeah, like one of this, the survival mode, right? We've been programmed to live in that state of beingness. But true beingness is beyond these frames, is not, this way or that way or whatever, right? Beingness is this wide ocean, a field of being, right? I am being. Now, if action is to, come out of this, there needs to be intention for action to occur. It's either stimulus and response. So something, you throw a stone at me, I throw a stone back, right? So that's stimulus and response, cause and effect. But what you're talking about is the intention. So there needs to be an intention through which action then occurs. And that intention could be just a value. I am being, and this value that I'm creating in this beingness is of love and joy, right? Now, whatever occurs now in life, so the stones being thrown at me, is the action that's going to come out, is going to come out through the space of love and joy. That's where this subjective, I have subjective certainty. Life is going to do whatever it does. But my values from my beingness then function in this way that dictate my action. I don't need to worry about what am I going to do. What will I say? What will I do? How should I say this? That's not concern anymore. And Krishna talks about this as a state of sthita prajna, being established completely in that oneness, and then operating in the world through your values. So when Krishna's telling Arjuna that fight the war, you have to fight this. He's like, no, even if if we fight this war, if I win the kingdom and everything is, if I've defeated all these people, it's not going to bring me any joy. I don't want to rule. I don't want all this gold. I don't want all this wealth, this fame. I don't want any of this. So he says, that's not why you're fighting, dude. You're fighting for your values. You're fighting because a woman was insulted in your court, in front of you. You're fighting for what you believe is right, for which you have taken a stand for. Yeah, those are values, and values, intentions, and that's what dictates action. In fact, action flows out of that even without effort. Yes?
So just so I understood correctly, what you're suggesting is in that beingness state, if we can establish ourselves, the more we are rooted in our values, the doing comes from the value that we place. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, absolutely. And whether you like it or not, that's happening already. Today, for in our modern world, we have values, right? Our values are what? Convenience, comfort. These are our values, which has been given to us by society. Fame, personal fame and success. That's a value.
Yeah,
And our action come out of that anyways. I want the most convenient, the most easy way to find the maximum personal fame and success. This is how everybody is living their life. So if you don't create your own values, society will give it to you, and then you live by that, or somebody will give it to you. So that's where real choice and real free will are operating.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome.
Okay, any follow-ups, anything, any last thoughts? I will give you 5 seconds. Okay, Suresh says amazing session.
Thanks, Suresh. Good to see you after a long time.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you for those questions, for that conversation. I acknowledge all of us here for participating in this conversation because our participation, it really conveys our conviction to lead a profound life, a more good quality HD life, like you say, Shaurya. And thank you so much, Shaurya, for your patience and for guiding us through our questions. To all the listeners here, thank you. See you all next time, everyone. This is me signing off. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night. Om Shri Matre Namaha.
Please end the meeting. End it.